So with our handsome Mr. Z, we're going to warm up a little bit with some loose leash walking. Again, we are working today with his equipment on. So if, again, you feel that he does better on the left or the right, you can, again, pick whichever side you'd prefer. I like to work my boys on either side. So that way your dog can become familiar with either end, be it your left or your right. You may also find that, again, we've mentioned in the past, is use your hand as a great way to get some of that focus on you and over by your side of your body. Ready, Zeus? So if he starts to, because he's got these beautiful long legs, if you find he's starting to extend his gait and it's hard to, for example, go at his rate at times, I really do love working with my dogs on like a 15-foot lead. The reason behind that is as you're doing some sniffy walks or exploration or even loose leash walking, you can allow your pup to trot ahead, explore off to the side, do some exploration, and then from there, still have them practice that bouncing back to you from the environment. A lot of times, since your puppy's gait is much faster than yours, I find with a 6-foot leash at times, they are doing a lot of pulling. And especially when that excitement goes up or their ability or understanding may not be quite as refined as we were hoping. So for Mr. Z, I tend to hold at times my leash on my right side and then feed with the side that my puppy is going to be on. So if I find it's easier to get him to hone in on the left or the right, whichever you prefer, you can go ahead and start, again, capturing those moments where he is by the side of your body and make sure that those are the moments where he's being reinforced. If at times you're finding you're feeding by mistake as the puppy gets ahead of you, your best bet is, let's say he did get a bit of ahead, you could do a little U-turn and in that moment feed when they're back by the side of your body. He's doing a really good job. Ready, Zeus? Yes. So you'll see that also, oh, we lost a snack. You'll see that my rate of reinforcement is pretty high. So I want him, especially in the beginning when he's learning novel skills or building value in certain sort of behaviors, is that if the reinforcements are, from his perspective, not worthy of the effort or the work, he might have a much better time completely ignoring us and frolicking with his sibling, or ignoring us and going and checking out whatever the bunnies are up to. So I would highly recommend that if your pup has a really hard time with focus on you without distractions, like be it in the home or with minimal distractions, they're probably not going to do any better out in the real world, especially if they don't quite know how to hone in and find that beneficial. Nice job. He's like, oh my gosh, we lost one. Find it. Good boy. So let's say, for example, we might want to practice on now the opposite side. I would then go ahead and still feed from the side my puppy's going to be on. But now I'm going to have, again, the hand be on the same side as him. So don't mind me. I'm going to switch. So again, still feeding for the side in which I'd like him to be on. You can, for example, set it up where you are feeding across your body. But what I find ends up happening by mistake is, let's say we have the food on the opposite side as a puppy. What a lot of people do is as they go to feed, they feed right here as the puppy cuts in front of them. And again, not the end of the world if you were looking for a front behavior or some other skills, but when we're working on loose leash walking, we want to make sure that the reinforcement is happening while the puppy is by the side of your leg. So this doesn't mean that 24/7 does your puppy have to be like in a heel position, which is by the side of your body. But this can be nice for safety reasons, for honing in your puppy, for keeping their attention on you, ready, versus the environment around them. But again, loose leash walking could also be he's on that longer lead. We'll give him a little break from the leash, but he could be on, for example, a longer training lead, like a 15 or so footer. And you could then practice, okay, yeah, but 1 second. And then you could practice having Mr. Z work his way from the environment back to you and sort of back and forth. So he's like, there's always a crumb that's stuck in that piece, huh? So with Mr. Z, if let's say he is doing quite well with that loose leash walking, remember to keep the session short and sweet. So working it in and around the home, I know hopefully as the nicer weather potentially comes our way, we'll be able to use our yards and maybe the front area of your neighborhood. But remember, sometimes, as I mentioned last time, is traveling to an environment where you can see what's coming and then be able to gauge your puppy's comfort range and abilities there is sometimes easier than going for those walks where you don't always know what's around the corner, either on your neighborhood or it's sometimes like a walk in the woods.